I'm here with my dad, Patrick Gilmore Jr., to discuss the occupation of financial planning today. So,
How you doing?
what is a financial planner?
Well, basically, I'm a certified financial planner that I work with clients and small businesses to establish a financial plan for them. Basically, we establish goals, we set objectives, we analyze the data, we monitor the data on an ongoing basis. And we also do a lot of risk management with the clients to be sure they're within their risk tolerance levels and try to meet their long-term and short-term goals, whatever they may be.
Do you know what the career outlook for a financial planner is at the moment?
Well, right now, financial planners are very much in demand for a few reasons. Number one, people are living a lot longer. Another reason is the fluctuation in the markets. If we just take, for example, what happened this last week in the markets, a lot of people really need handholdings to prevent any panic selling, things like that. We want to keep them to be sure that they still have, a rational view going forward. We don't want them to make any mistakes with that. Baby boomers are turning 65 every day. And that generation is just getting bigger and bigger. And with longevity, we really have to address the income planning issue, not just the wealth accumulation issue prior to age 65, but the income planning distribution. Because if you have a couple these days that both live to 65, there's a very good chance that one of those will live to be over 90 years old. So our main goal is we don't want these people, outliving their money. We want the money outliving them and hopefully be able to establish some sort of legacy for them moving forward.
Yeah, to add on to that, the employment of personal financial planners is projected to grow 15% from 2016 to 2026, which is much faster than the average for all occupations.
I definitely agree with that. And from what I've seen, there's a lot of attrition going on. There is a lot of financial planners that are retiring, and we don't feel that it's getting backfilled with younger planners. So I definitely think it's a growing profession from that outlook also.
Is there any necessary education to be a financial planner?
Well, you definitely need a college degree. I received a Bachelor of Science in accounting, so I specialized in a lot of the business aspects of finance, accounting, management, marketing, etc. I did accounting for about 10 years, but I really took a liking to the market and wanting to work with people. So I pursued the financial planning route or track, I should say, to become a certified financial planner. So what I had to do to become a certified financial planner was I took an exam, but in order to sit for this exam, I had to pass 6 different tracks: insurance, basic financial planning, estate management, investments, insurance, and again, then fundamentals of that. And then after completing those courses, that would enable me to sit down and take the exam, the CFP exam, which is a very difficult exam. I took a training course for it, studied very hard, probably about 6 months to take it. The passing rate on this exam is probably around 60%. So it was very stringent. I wish I could say I passed the first time. I did not. But I, buckled down again, and I passed my second time, and I've been a CFP now for about 21 years.
And you also need to adhere to a code of ethics to maintain this
Yeah,
title?
in this day and age, I have to take a code of ethics training, get ethics credits every 2 years. Ethics is one of the most important thing, and when I have client engagements, that is something I always do specialize, is about the ethic track, the ethic continuing education that I have to take. Especially in this day and age, there is a lot of deceitfulness going on with some financial planners. I shouldn't say a lot with a lot of financial planners, but there's always a few that are, getting involved in an aspect, fraud, things like that. We have some bad cops, we have some bad planners, but ethics is definitely paramount. And when I speak with clients, it's definitely something I definitely reinforce before the engagement.
So do you know anything about what the typical salary is for a personal financial planner?
Well, typical salary, it's going to vary. There's a lot of different ways to set up a financial planning practice. I mean, if you were to go into a financial planning practice and maybe become a paralegal, I think you could probably have out of school probably start around 50 or 60,000. But a lot of planners are also independent, so I think there's an unlimited upside as far as what a person can make over time. You know, the more assets you garner and start to manage, you generally make a percentage on those assets. So if those assets go up and you're charging a fee on those assets, your compensation is also going to reflect and go up with that. Likewise, if your assets and the markets go down and management goes down, you're going to participate in the downside. So that's something we like to talk with the clients. We like to be very transparent as far as the fees go, because if we go up, we participate in it. You know, we have a fiduciary responsibility. We like to be very transparent with that. So there is unlimited upside as far as compensation that could be made.
So it's basically like if you manage $100 million, a good goal would be to manage 1% of that money, and your salary would be like $1 million?
Correct. So the financial planning profession is really moving towards a fee-based type of platform where you would make 1% on the assets you manage. So like Patrick said, if I'm managing 100 million and I'm making 1 point, that's going to generate $1 million to me over the course of 12 months.
All right. So, and personal financial planning, that's like a career based on the individual, right? So you're self-employed?
Correct. Well, there's a lot of, financial planners, there's 3 different tracks you could basically go. You could be an independent, whereas I basically hang out my own shingle, but fall under FINRA and SEC rules. So I'm basically my own boss, but I do have somebody that takes care of compliance. You could also be a planner and you could work under a wirehouse, which is basically like a Merrill Lynch, a UBS, very more involved possibly in, individual stocks, things like that. Or you could work in a bank. So there's a lot of different tracks and a lot of different models that one could follow to become a financial planner. I started in a bank track. I worked in the trust department of a bank for 2 or 3 years. And then I had an opportunity to hang out my own shingle, and I haven't looked back.
So is it fair to say that you like create your own benefits and vacation time, or is that given to you?
Well, I mean, I've worked very hard, and I'm definitely a grinder. I've been doing this now 23 years. In the beginning, I really, had to have a stringent schedule, meet with clients at night, on weekends if I have to. But right now that my business is very mature, I've been doing it a long time, it has afforded me an opportunity to really enable me to, I don't like to miss any of my children's events, be it bowling, baseball, basketball, plays, concerts, things like that. So I kind of do make my own hours, but I want to be there during market hours. I like to be able to, entertain any phone calls that come in during the day. But I also am out doing reviews with clients. I have clients coming into the office, but I have some clients that I have to go to them. And I'll sit down with them and I will be on the road. And again, if a client needs to see me at night, I will meet with them at night. This past weekend, I had an appointment on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. I'll make myself available for that.
So like, what's a typical day in the life for you as a personal financial planner?
Well, typical day in life of as a financial planner is, I generally try to get into the office around 8:15 and try to get an idea of where the markets are going to start the day. So just kind of get a feel, read my Wall Street Journal, see where markets are going to open up, see if there were any earnings out, see if there are any announcements by the government. So trying to just get a good grasp of what's going on in the financial markets as well as maybe the political markets or geopolitical events that are going on. So I could be able to get a feel of what's happening. Then I'll usually have a client meeting or 2 during the day. I'll try to get on the phone, maybe talk to some clients, as well as I'll be putting plans together and monitoring plans or doing reviews with clients. So we're always trying to do something on an ongoing basis and keeping communication open, because the most important thing is communication with the clients. We don't want to hide under a rock. The markets were a lot of gyration last week. We want to get on the phones and talk to the client and say, your goals are the same, fundamentals look the same. This is probably going to be just a pause or a correction, and just reinforce volatility with clients. Every day is different though. I mean, that's kind of a typical day, but last week nobody anticipated this week that we were going to have. So it did open up a lot of phone calls coming in as well as a lot of phone calls going out.
To branch off of what you said with communication skills, those tend to be important. And are there any other characteristics that make you set to be a financial planner? Like, if I want to be a financial planner, which I do, what qualities would help me?
Well, I mean, I think you have to be educated, number one, and you have to be a hard worker and a self-starter. But communication, I believe, is really one of the most important things. You can't be afraid of the phone. You have to get on the phone with the clients. And, you have to be able to engage with the clients. I like to tell people a lot of times, I could meet with the mailman or I could meet with the CEO in the corner office. I try not to differentiate between any of them or discriminate against any of them. Because it is all about a relationship going forward. But communication skills are paramount. You have to have some sort of knowledge of the markets. I mean, you do need some business acumen. I mean, you could learn that over time, but if you have a foundation, it definitely adds a lot to being able to build on that foundation.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a great day.
Greatly appreciate it.